welcome to another edition of Long Beach Treasures. I'm your host, Harvey Keller. Today we're going to be visiting the East Village and see what surprises they have in store for us. And joining me as my tour guide today is Casey Carver. Casey, welcome. And
Hi.
Casey is the president of the East Village Association. What is the East Village?
Well, the East Village is from Ocean Boulevard to 10th Street, from Alamitos to Long Beach Boulevard. It's a very eclectic neighborhood of a lot of stores, galleries, restaurants, bars, where we celebrate a lot of art and celebrate the people of our city and the beauty that they create.
And we're standing here at the corner of Broadway and Linden, and I just wanted to point out some of the historic buildings you have. The one across the street was built, I believe, in 1933. It's a Streamline Moderne, and I point this out because in a little while we're going to see this replicated in tile. Across the street we have the Lafayette Complex, and also we have on the other corner here we have the Broadland Hotel. So these are three of the buildings here that have historic significance in the district. And where do you want to go from here?
Well, Harvey, just to thank you for showing off our buildings. Remember that part of the East Village's charm is that we do have a lot of beautiful old historic buildings. And right now I'd like to show you, this is our Portfolio Cafe. And just on this street we have an Indonesian store, we have a Moroccan store, and a lot of beautiful things.
Did you want to go down and visit the Moroccan store while we're here?
Yes, if they're open. Let's go see. Okay.
And as we go by here, Casey, I want to point out the Mystic Tide. Now, this is a sculpture, and I believe the artist is...
I am not sure who the artist is. This was put up about 1995. There are a series of sculptures like this along the Broadway, and they are to represent some of the little animals that you'd find at the bottom of the sea that you never see, and they're microscopic many times. And we did this because it was to represent some of the things you might see in our new aquarium, which was being planned at that time.
Dean Smith was the artist.
Dean Smith.
And
okay.
These are 15-foot high poles, and the sculptures themselves weigh 350 pounds, and this one happens to be called Sanctuary.
Well, you know it, and it's very good. I've lived here all my life, but I didn't know all the history about this. I do know about a lot of the other artwork that we've done recently. We have switchgear boxes, we have bike racks, everything, and so I'd love to show that to you.
Oh, we'll check them out along the way. Now, Casey, this is one of your art projects. Tell me about it.
Well, this is one of 36 switchgear boxes that we had painted in the East Village. This is done by a wonderful artist named Dana Fox. He is also from Long Beach Arts at 7th Street in Alamitos. Dana is one of our fine artists who has been in Long Beach for a long time. You can see he's depicted the convention center, and then on another side we have the aquarium, which is a great rendition. And then on the other side we have our World Trade Center. No, that's Landmark. I'm sorry, Landmark Center on Ocean. And the last is the Queen Mary with fireworks. And it just represents some of the most beautiful things about our city. And we painted these so that we would have a lot of tourists noticing all the beauty of the area. You can see part of the framing has sort of an Art Deco look, which is very representative of the East Village.
They're really quite attractive, much more attractive than just a big old white switch box.
Correct. And remember that there are 36 of them within Ocean Boulevard to 7th Street and from Long Beach Boulevard to Alamitos. That's quite a concentration. We're also planning on painting about 30 more. And they're all by individual artists. 36 different people did this.
And I want to point out as we walk along here the glass bricks here, because the basement of the Broadland Hotel comes out underneath the sidewalk.
Correct.
And this is
Correct.
what lets the light in to the underground area.
Right, and they're planning on doing quite a few things with this wonderful old building. Right now we have a beautiful store here that just opened called Danner Broadland Furnishings for the Home, and they have many antiques and antique reproductions and a lot of furniture. It's a beautiful store that uses the space, which is a 2-story space and upstairs display space you can see from the street. It really looks great, and they're restoring the building right now. it's one of our jewels.
This, by the way, is one of my favorite buildings in Long Beach. And while we go across here, I want to point out a couple other things across the street at the Broadland Hotel. If you look up at the top, you'll see the ram's head, and that was part of the symbol for the Parisian Internationale in 1924, which was the start of the Art Deco period. And right above the Lafayette entryway, you'll notice the sculpture there, which is Night and Day, which is a replica from the de' Medici tomb in Florence, Italy. And I point that out because we're going to see this again replicated.
Correct, we will. And I wanted to introduce my friend who lives at the Lafayette. And this is Gregory Jeffers. And Greg, just tell him what it's like to live down here.
Well, I've been here for about 5 years, and I love actually what the whole village has become. I mean, it's really become a vibrant part of downtown and vibrant part of Long Beach. I mean, 10 years ago we wouldn't walk downtown, and now there's a lot of people moving down here. It's a very comfortable place to live, even at night. Walking, and people are very comfortable. It's a great place for artists and you know, art enthusiasts.
And we also have our second Saturday art walks here on Linden between First and Broadway. The second Saturday of every month. We start about a little before sunset and go until late in the night. We have music and bands, and you can see this on our website, eastvillageartsdistrict.com. By the way, Greg and I are also part of St. Baldrick's. We're going to be shaving our heads again for raising money for kids with cancer. And we plan to raise $50,000 right here in Long Beach in the Arts District to support the Memorial Hospital's Miller's Children's Hospital in Long Beach and other charities like that through stbaldricks.com. So it'll be on our website. Check it out.
You know, one of the neat things about living in the Lafayette, even though it's a historic building, this was the first Miss Universe
back in 1952.
I believe in the old ballroom, the first televised boxing match took place. And this, after the Lafayette Hotel closed down, was the first building on the West Coast to be converted into condominiums.
Residential condominiums, right in 1969. Yes.
Correct, and I had my high school prom here.
Now you're giving away your age.
Yes, I do. It was in the new ballroom, which has been torn down, and now they're building a new hotel right there.
All right, let's continue on down.
Let's go on down.
Thanks for stopping by.
Take care.
All right.
Okay, I just wanted to point out the Campbell Apartments. This was built, I believe, in around 1928. This was the third building in the Lafayette complex when it was the Hilton Hotel, or the Lafayette Hotel, owned by the Hilton chain. Joining me now is Phil Appleby, and I have to give Phil credit because I think in 1991 you were the one who spearheaded the renaissance of the East Village Art District, and I want to thank you for it because you've had a tremendous success. And this, speaking of successes, is going to be your next accomplishment. Tell me about it.
Well, you know, in life you should always have small goals and then one big, hairy, audacious goal. And this is our most recent hairy, audacious goal. It is a somewhere between a 40 and a 50,000 square foot building that we hope to build in the East Village. It will house artists, about 70 to 100 artists. They will work. They will not live in these spaces, but they will work and they will market their artwork in this facility. The models are all over the country, but this is a little bit unique. We've modeled it a little bit after the Torpedo Factory in Alexandria, Virginia. But this one has a little bit of a flair. We have industrial art as a strong component in Long Beach, and so we will have a theater where people can sit and watch glass blowers and other industrial artists do their particular artwork. We hope that this will get off the ground in the next several years. We would like the support of the redevelopment agency and the City of Long Beach, and they have been 100% behind this project.
Good. I wish you luck, and I can't wait to see it finished. Because, you know, one thing I like about this, you said you're going to have a theater where people can watch. That's almost like Savory had when he first developed the colony down here in the 1920s.
In the East Village.
Yeah. It was called Wayside Colony.
Wayside Colony, yeah.
Some of our viewers might remember the old Brittany Kitchen, the Rooftop Theater, which later became the Long Beach Playhouse. So this is right on line with what he envisioned back in the 20s.
Kind of part of the Cosmo.
Absolutely. Thanks, Phil.
Thank you, and welcome to the East Village.
Thank you. Casey, this is a fantastic piece of artwork in tile, and I wanted to point this out. Not only is it a transit bench, but you'll notice again the replication of Night and Day that was on the Lafayette Hotel down there.
Correct, and this is done by our wonderful friend Carrie Zarders. She is an artist who does all kinds of beautiful ceramic. She does fountains, everything, and we're just so pleased that this is right here. You notice on the side of the bench, you'll see some advertisements for some of the old businesses that used to be in downtown Long Beach, probably in the 20s and 30s when Art Deco was big. And so she wanted to represent some of the old businesses and the history in the East Village. There's also a pillar here that's very beautiful. And it is also done in an Art Deco style, and it represents some of the other buildings and styles that you'll see throughout the East Village. Remember that we have a huge amount of history here and a lot of beautiful art that you may need to go inside a building to see.
These are all individual little pieces of tile that she has...
Correct, and she did all this, and we're just so pleased. This is what we're doing in the East Village. Many more projects like this. We have all kinds of other things planned with our art park, and then also a lot more mosaic. We want to do benches and decorated pots and all kinds of other things because we feel that it's very substantial, it's sturdy, it's beautiful, it'll last forever.
Okay, let's go across the street because I know there's some tile work over there that I want to point out because it's as well as spectacular as well.
Of course, we got lots of it. Let's go.
All right.
This is our Village Tour de Art bus. It takes people through the historic district and also up to the Museum of Latin American Art. Lots of other places along the way.
And that's a free ride?
It's a minimal charge, and I think sometimes it's free. We hope to have that going during our Tour des Artistes in June. I wanted to show you our wonderful Utopia restaurant. Look up here, and this is a mosaic by Mike McCormick, another Long Beach artist. He actually teaches for Long Beach City College mosaic classes, and his website is Mike McCormick, or Mike's Mosaic, that's it. And this building, wonderful old Art Deco building, we have written a grant which the city gave us $300,000 to improve this whole block. And what we're going to do is enhance all of the beauty of this building by adding extra lighting. Of course, it will be Art Deco. It will show off the building better, and it will brighten the street. Because this is right where we have our second Saturday art walks, where there's hundreds of people walking around, and we wanted to have it lighter. So let's go inside the restaurant.
I just want to point out before we go in that this was a building that was designed by Schilling & Schilling, who also did the Lafayette Hotel complex. All right, Casey, would you introduce our guest?
Good. We're in the Utopia restaurant, and this is Cameron Asadi, the owner.
Now, you not only serve great food, but you have an art exhibit also, don't you?
Yeah, we do actually. Yeah, we rotate our exhibition every 2 months, and we feature local artists and some not so local artists. The current exhibition we have is a German photographer and actually a local photographer. So
good. Well, I'm going to see you Saturday because I'm having dinner here.
Looking forward to seeing you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Now, I want to point out some beautiful tile work. This was a community development block grant for street improvement, and some of the street improvement along First Street here was the tile work. You'll notice we're standing in front of Flowers by Vicky, and if you look at the tile work here, and you can tell me who the artist is.
Well, the artist is Tom Barter, who is from Long Beach, and now he's living in New Zealand. He's done a lot of great artwork, and we're going to see a lot of it at this building. This is the first facade improvement program that we did in the East Village a few years ago, and then we have our second one that has been granted to us that will start in March.
You notice I point this out because this is the back of the Broadland Hotel, which is right down on the corner of Broadway and Linden. Let's take a short walk down here and look at some of the other tile work. Now, is the tile work all by the same artist?
It's all done by Tom Barter, and then he had other people working for him, but he is the one who designed it, fired everything himself, and he did it all in his studio right in Long Beach, a place called Silica Studios, where they have glass blowing, ceramic, and other industrial arts.
And here's it almost in front of the Passport Coffee Shop with another one of the Mystic Tide sculptures, and
Correct.
again, that sanctuary.
Right. Very beautiful. I love the colors, I love the brightness, and it also mixes in with the Art Deco look of the neighborhood. You can see the top pillars
Now,
really
I
accentuate
believe
that.
this is an apartment building which is between Broadway and 3rd Street on
Actually,
Linden.
I think that is part of the
Oh, no.
555 building where the 555 restaurant is.
You're
because
right, because this is the
Cooper Arms
Cooper
right
Arms.
in the back. Yes.
Yes.
Yes, and he represented so much of the new and the old in the town, how it all blends together.
Boy, this really makes a big improvement for the street. It's just
Correct.
really beautiful.
Correct, and we have our second Saturday art walks here, and we do encourage everybody to come and see the art that's permanently here. Now this is at 3rd and Linden.
Right, this is the apartment building I was talking about, and the church there on 3rd Street.
COA is right there, and once again, he made sort of a beauty out of something that might need some work there, but it's really gorgeous. I just love that.
He fired the tiles himself
Fired
and did the
everything.
whole process?
Correct. He's a master artist, and we're sorry that he moved to New Zealand, but he and his daughter and his wife is from New Zealand, and I'm sure he's just dazzling them down under.
Now, this is why I stopped at Broadway and Linden, because I wanted to point out the Streamline Moderne building. Here it is replicated, and he did a fantastic job. It looks the same as the original building.
Correct, and this is owned by Nancy Downs Chitty at the corner of Broadway and Linden, and we're very pleased that she has restored it and kept it looking very Art Deco, sort of like South Beach in Miami.
Nancy Downs?
Nancy Downs Chitty.
She has a home that has a chapel in it?
Yes, she owns a house with a chapel. She doesn't live there anymore, but she used to do weddings in the chapel, which used to be a Jewish temple.
I was
on Linden.
installed as president of Long Beach Heritage in that chapel.
Well,
So let's
congratulations.
go on down.
Come on, wait. Good, and I wanted you to see down the street we have a lot of unique businesses. We have a futon place, we have a wonderful Chinese restaurant, and then a trophy store. But once again, overall, we have a lot more tile here. This was part of a facade improvement grant, and we also did the whole building. We added the lighting, we added a lot of other things, and Phil Appleby and the East Village Association did all of this years ago. But
This is quite a piece of artwork here.
And this is also by Tom Barter, and he just installed this a couple of months ago. It is also paid for by Long Beach Transit, as well as the bench that we saw. And Tom designed this. It is to represent a lot of kids' bicycles and tricycles stacked up to pick up the theme of the transient type thing. And this is right in front of Al's Fish Market, and one of great little things. In fact, if you were to come around to this side, you'll probably see the name Barter 2002. And so he signed it in a very unique way, because Tom's just a real fun guy, really nice and interesting, and we're very pleased that his art is here. We do intend to do more pieces like this so that we can, once again, show off our artists and show off their art.
Fantastic tile work.
Yeah, and behind it, by the way, is the Hotel des Artistes, and this is a regular rooming house. It's probably single apartments, but we call it Hotel des Artistes because it represents the arts in our neighborhood. Okay, and I'd also like to introduce my vice president of the East Village Association, Wade Francis.
Wade, welcome.
Welcome to you. Thank you.
Wade owns the Gatsby apartment that we're going to see later on.
Okay. And what do you want to tell us about the East Village?
Well, we made an investment in the East Village last year because we've been noticing all the wonderful things that's been happening. And when you look down here, what we see is the trend is people want to be back into an urban environment. So the urban exodus is pretty much over, and people now want to come back into a place where they can have nice things. They can walk to the theater, they can walk to the beach, have good blue line to go up to LA and on to Hollywood and to Pasadena. And now is a good time to make an investment. And so we've been very happy with what we've been able to do down here. And we're just very pleased with where the whole neighborhood's going.
Well, good. Let's go see some more.
That sounds good.
Right.
Joining me now is the artist Steve Elicker. And Steve, I think you had a lot to do with designing this pocket park.
Well, there's a lot of people that had a lot to do with it actually, but I've been fortunate enough to be kept on the job throughout the entirety of the project.
Who did the gates?
Lisa Jacobs and Tom Walker designed and fabricated the gates, and the glass insets I actually produced in my studio.
And tell me about the park. What's it going to be used for? And
well, the idea was that it's a park within the arts community, and the way the process started, we did a design charrette, and the community came together and had a list of things that they would like to see happen in this space. And then it was my task to work with the landscape architect and try and make as many of those things feasible, but still maintain the integrity of a park.
So you have a little stage here where you can have small venues?
Well, correct. The idea is, you know, performance art is a possibility, and the grid that's an aesthetic element turns into like a backdrop, an opportunity for a backdrop for, say, Shakespeare in the Park type situation, or maybe hanging large format artwork, things of that nature.
And this will be a wisteria arbor here?
That's correct. And, you know, it'll probably take a good, you know, 3 years or so for the landscape to fully mature and come in, but eventually the wisteria will go across the top, and then when it goes into bloom once a year, it'll kind of drop and have this kind of veiled entrance kind of statement.
Now, these, I assume, are specially designed benches?
That's correct. Another local artist, Koji Wakayoshi, made these, and they're fabricated of ironwood. And we wanted something, we kind of call them a meditation bench. They're kind of wide enough for someone to come in and sit on, or even have a lunch on and still feel comfortable, you know, a wide enough surface.
And I believe you're going to have your dedication here very soon, aren't you?
Yeah, we're trying to figure out a date that works for everyone. It's going to be a pretty big event with City Council and RDA and everyone that's been involved along the way. I think we're looking late March, early April, sometime like that.
It'll be nice when all the vegetation is grown up and it blocks out the view here to the south, the buildings, and just will give it just a really neat feeling in here.
I agree. I think that, you know, you try to see 3 years from now when the vines are grown up and you don't see all of the visual traffic. Really what you start to focus on is the skyline, which is beautiful from here. So
while we're standing here, I want to point out across the street, the parking lot over there. I believe that's where the new building that you want to construct here in the East Village will be going?
We are surely hopeful of that. The arts community is kind of rallying together to try and be taken serious as a serious new construction project for the city of Long Beach, and employ artists, offer them an opportunity to actually sell their work in Long Beach as well. So things have gone forward. We got a feasibility study, and now we need to sell the city and RDA on the project.
Thanks for stopping by and giving me your tour of the park, and I come for the grand opening.
Excellent, my pleasure.
All right. Okay, this is another switch box here, and the artist is?
Our Terrazina, and this is just one of the many variations of the switchgear boxes that we have of the 36. Everyone is so unique and so different. None of them look alike.
And I think we have time to make one more stop, and I have something in mind, so let's go.
All right.
Casey, this looks like an outdoor garden. What is it?
Of course it is. It's Long Beach Organics Community Garden. It's their East Village garden. And we have, once again, we're going to have a facade improvement program where we'll build a new iron gate around this garden. We're actually going to set it back from the street about 10 to 12 feet. And then we'll put 2 benches at the entry. It'll have an arched gate over it with lighting. And then we'll have maybe a water element if we can do it, some kind of a fountain. But we're going to use our local artists to do a lot of ceramic and beautify it, and also make it another little place to sit.
Okay, we have just a minute or two left, and I have to go into the House of Hayden.
You betcha we do, because this is probably the most unique place because of the bathrooms.
All right. Okay, we're in the House of Hayden, and this is David Hayden next to me. And we came in here because they have the most unusual bathrooms in the city of Long Beach. David, tell me about it.
Well, I designed it to look like the Alamo jail cell. That's what I call it anyhow.
And it's all
It's all cement. Yeah, it's institutional. It's all penal wear from the jailhouses. It's all brand new equipment, but that's what it is.
So this is exactly the same type of equipment that would be in a jail or prison?
Yeah,
or
county jail or something like that. Yeah, that's it. Stainless steel.
That's unusual, and it's really neat. Let's check out the women's bathroom while we're here.
Okay. It's a little upscale, I think, from the boys.
Oh, it's a little fancier, but it still has the institutional look. That's great. Casey, thanks for joining me today. Since there's so much to see in the East Village, we're going to have to do 2 shows. So this is part 1, and we'll do part 2, which will be shown at a later date. So thank you for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
And be sure and join us again next month as we take another walk through history and uncover more Long Beach treasures.